Logitical Response.
Alright, so this is one I've been wanting to do for a while. It's a kind of a silly thing. So they have these hearings where senators and congressmen get asked a question.
Does the United States need more police or fewer police?
And then they'll start answering the question.
As you just noted, I have law enforcement in my background, and I am
With something that has nothing to do with it. They'll give a totally different answer.
very familiar with the problems that crime cause in the communities
It's the weirdest thing.
where we live.
They'll start taking these long pauses in between their sentences.
Okay, Judge, I'm sorry. We have a few minutes here. You have a lifetime appointment if you're confirmed. I asked a simple either or question.
Say it's a yes or no question. You know, we only have so much time. We need to hurry the hell up.
Does the United States need more or fewer police?
Senator, the determination about whether there should be more or fewer police is a policy decision by another branch of government. It is not something that judges have control over, and I will stay in my lane in terms of the kinds of things that are properly in the judicial branch.
Okay, if you don't want to address whether the United States needs more or fewer police, we'll move on to sentencing, which is...
And it seems like it's done intentional, and I'm sure it is. Now, some of it might not be. They may have to actually think for a few seconds, but you can tell they'll just start rambling on about something, not really saying anything.
Certainly in your lane, there's been a lot of talk about criminal justice and sentencing approaches and theories today. In general, is someone more likely or less likely to commit a crime if they know that they will be caught, convicted, and sentenced?
It's almost like reading a letter from a lawyer.
Senator, what is in my lane is the consideration of particular cases of
Judge,
prosecution.
You've spoken a lot today about criminal sentencing, about the theory of sentencing. You've written a lot about it in your record. It is a very simple question. Is someone more likely or less likely to commit crime if they're more certain that they're going to be caught, convicted, and sentenced?
Senator, I am aware from my work on the Sentencing Commission and not as a judge that there is research into recidivism rates, into rehabilitation, into the factors that go into a determination about whether someone is more or less likely to commit crime. Part of what Congress has taken into account when it determined that one of the purposes of punishment is deterrence is the idea that if someone is convicted and punished, they will be deterred from committing other crimes.
And you've mentioned that, and you've written about that in your writings. There's 4 purposes of punishment. One of those is deterrence. Isn't it inherent in the concept of deterrence that people are less likely to commit crime if they're more likely to get caught, convicted, and sentenced? Why can't you just say that's the case?
I was wondering the same thing.
Senator, it's not that I'm avoiding saying that's the case.
No, Judge, that's exactly what you're doing. I'm asking a very simple question. In general, is someone more likely or less likely to commit a crime if they know they're going to be caught, convicted, and sentenced?
It's very
part of deterrence theory.
It's very difficult to answer questions in general when you're asking about things like phenomena related to crime.
Well, that's not true. Watch this.
Does the United States need more police or fewer police?
More police. Yes.
Does the United States need more or fewer police?
You just asked me that.
In general, is someone more likely or less likely to commit a crime if they know that they will be caught, convicted, and sentenced?
Less likely.
Is someone more likely or less likely to commit crime if they're more certain that they're going to be caught, convicted, and sentenced?
You just asked me that again. Less likely.
Isn't it inherent in the concept of deterrence that people are less likely to commit crime if they're more likely to get caught, convicted, and sentenced? Why can't you just say that's the case?
You just asked me that again. Less likely. Less likely.
In general, is someone more likely or less likely to commit a crime if they know they're going to be caught, convicted, and sentenced?
Look, I'm not going to play your game of 20 questions if all 20 questions are the same questions. Get the hell out of here, man. What the hell's wrong with you?
It's the theory behind deterrence that by punishing someone, they will be less likely to commit the crime in the future. That is a theory that undergirds.
Do you think that theory is correct?
Senator, there is research that supports that deterrence is something that can occur. Does it occur in every case? I can't say that.
I mean, she is trying really hard to answer that question with a no answer.
Okay, let's turn to something more concrete then. Do you know how long the average inmate convicted for a murder serves in prison in America?
No, I don't.
The answer is 17 years on average. Is 17 years too long or not long enough for a criminal to spend in prison for murder?
I'm going to go ahead and throw my 2 cents in on this before she does. She could have easily answered this with, well, that depends on the severity of the crime.
Senator, these are policy questions.
That's not a policy question. That's an opinion question.
Whether they're in the province of the Sentencing Commission in terms of recommendations, whether they are in Congress, they're not the kinds of things that I can opine about.
So you don't want to opine on whether 17 years is too long or too short a sentence for murder?
Miss Senator Cotten. The Congress has prescribed a number of factors that judges look at when they sentence. It may, in many cases, not be. I can't answer in the abstract.
Well, you can answer in the abstract, which I already did for you, but I'll do it again. It depends on the severity of the crime. Simple as that. Why can't they just say that? And why do they always have to add all this other crap in there? It's ridiculous.
The way that you...
These are very concrete. Let's turn to rape.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Do you know how long the average inmate convicted of rape serves in prison in America?
Not a crime in the federal system that I'm familiar with working with. I don't know.
It's 7.2 months. Do you think 7.2 months is too long or too short for someone convicted of rape to be sentenced to prison?
Senator, that's a policy question about the egregious crime of rape, and Congress has said that the court is supposed to take into account a number of factors when it sentences.
Okay.
I can't answer in the abstract.
Well, Judge, these are not abstract. These are very concrete.
What he's getting into now is kind of like a pseudo straw man argument. It's really weird. The questions seem to not make sense when you first hear it, but you back up and listen to it. He's trying to force her opinion. Trying to force her opinion on all these different issues, but it does seem kind of rude.
And remember, these are just the length of sentence if you're caught, convicted, and sentenced. Let's look at cases in which people are never caught. As I said, 2020. Do you think we should catch and imprison more murderers or fewer murderers?
Well, Senator, it's very important that people be held accountable for their crimes. So that is a fundamental tenet of the rule of law.
So is that a yes, we should catch more murderers, specifically the 46% of murderers who get away with it?
Senator, I'm not, to the extent you're asking about enforcement or law enforcement, those...
Judge, it's a very simple and common sense question. 46% of all murders go unsolved. Should we catch more of those murderers or should we catch fewer of them?
Senator, we should hold people accountable for their crimes. And so if people are not being held accountable, then that is a problem.
Let's turn to assaults.
This goes on for a while. And when I say a while, I mean like 3 days. I can say these politicians have a unique skill of not answering questions. and I might be slightly envious. To a fault. That was a lie. But what I can say, logic always beats out stupidity. Thanks for watching.